It still gets me every time. But when I first put this video online for public view, I had a woman message me, and she said, "Not only have you saved my life, you've saved my family the devastation from losing me. I believed they would be better off without me. You showed me that not to be true." This message kept me going to share my own stories in hopes to make a difference in someone else's. There's a power in sharing your story. Don't be afraid to share yours. I'm Vonnie Woodrick, founder of I Understand. Suicide is a subject many don't want to talk about. Yet I'm going to talk about it and keep talking about it until I see the necessary changes needed. I'm very grateful for the Michigan State Medical Society Alliance, I think I got it right, for understanding the importance of talking about it and bringing the conversation of mental health and suicide to the forefront. Thank you for including me today. I'm so honored to be on the same platform as Kelly Dolzinski from Kate Spade, New York, one of my personal favorite brands, and I can't wait to hear what she has to say in a little bit. But over 800,000 people die each year by suicide in our country. Suicide is the second leading cause of death from ages 10 to 24 years old. And the 10th leading cause, as Karen mentioned earlier, to adults. Yet we still act shocked every time we hear about a death by suicide. And the surprise quickly turns to curiosity as the most commonly asked question to someone who has lost someone to death by suicide is, how did they do it? Why are we asking that question? Does it really matter? How different can the conversation be if we asked why? The death of Kate Spade hit me hard because I was reminded of my own kids and watching them grow up without their dad. One of the most difficult things I've had to do. I think about Kate Spade's daughter growing up without her mom and how now she has to deal with the after effects of suicide. I still recall news reports, some talking about how she did it, some talking about how surprised they were as she seemingly had it all, and the shock. Hoda from the Today Show, I'm so shocked. Her daughter was so young, as if someone with a child cannot suffer from depression. Comments like these brought me back to my own place when people asked me, how could your husband do that? How did he do it? And you know your husband went to hell for killing himself. Yes. Many of you probably thought those same things, made those same comments, and maybe even judged someone. I know I did. I'm sure I was like many others. I thought those who killed themselves were crazy. I had to learn the truth the hard way. My husband wasn't crazy. He was fun, loving, successful. He made me laugh. He made our kids laugh. Yet he suffered with a terrible anxiety which led to depression. But how was I supposed to know that depression could kill? I didn't know that suicide is a side effect of depression. I didn't know that because we don't talk about it that way. I had 3 kids to support, 5, 12, and 15, bring some type of understanding to the devastation and new life we were forced to live. There were so many changes, so many challenges. I took each challenge and plowed through, making the best choices I could for my kids and me. I listened to my heart and my gut rather than from words from people who didn't understand or chose to be involved when it was convenient for them. I made mistakes, I hurt people, and I made some really poor choices. Yet each one of those were meant to be a part of my journey. When you go through a tremendous loss, it's difficult to comprehend how you can live your life without that person. Where do you start? Where do you go? Because we're living in a fog of unforeseen reality. All around me, everyone else's life seemed perfect. Their life didn't change. Your friends can take moments out of their day and spend time with you, yet they still get to go home to their same family, same routine, and same life. I knew people meant well, but yet some of the comments made with good intention would actually stun me and leave me without words, all while I was experiencing the devastating and sudden loss of my husband from an illness that I didn't know could be terminal. What type of person would ask a grieving mother, "Why did your husband do this to you and your kids?" How did he do it? At least it's not a divorce. A divorce is so much harder. I lost my mom this year. She was 85. She died in her sleep. I know how you feel. Is this the first time he ever tried to kill himself? Ignorant people say dumb and ignorant things. But I began to realize that these people did not go through what I went through. They hadn't experienced this type of loss, so how are they supposed to understand it? I began to let those comments go, as I wouldn't want a loss like mine on anyone else. I experienced what I call the turtle syndrome. I would slowly peek my head out, look around, and move slowly back into the real world. Driving my car, I didn't want people to see me out. I definitely couldn't engage in conversations that made me smile or laugh, because what did I have to smile or laugh about? The worst part, when I saw people point, knowing they were talking about me or my situation. When I heard people whisper, "Her husband's the one that killed himself," my heart broke even more and forced me back into the turtle shell. People changed. Family that once came around, stopped. Friends that were friends as couples were no longer close. Business relationships ended. Why was that? Was it too hard? Did they blame me? Or does life just go on for everyone else around you? The losses were significantly all the way around. Being forced to live in this new life with new changes, with so much loss and disappointment and grief, was not ever how I imagined my life to be. And I changed. And I lied. I lied many times and often. I didn't have it in me to tell me that my husband died from suicide. I was confused and afraid that we would be judged, or perhaps he would be judged. I told people he had cancer, as that was so much easier because I thought it was more acceptable. People support people with cancer and judge people who die by suicide. So I just avoided people all the way around. I didn't have to worry about sharing something that I didn't understand and something that was so painful. I became a widow. I thought a widow was at 79, 89, 99, not 39. What did this mean? What was I supposed to do? My friends were not widows. I had no one to relate. My friends were married forever or divorced. They couldn't begin to understand how painful it was to hear their wedding anniversaries or weekend getaways, even though I was happy for them. Or their ex, complaining about their ex when they had Wednesdays off and every other weekend free. I wanted Wednesdays off. I began to worry. I worried every day about everything. Mainly, depression would set in with one of my kids. My husband was 4th generation suicide. I worry about the 5th, the 6th, the 7th. I chose relationships with the wrong people. It was easy for me to surround myself with broken people. I wanted to come in and save them, fix them, protect them. Because if I could focus on somebody else's problems, I didn't have to look at mine. I learned the hard way that you can't fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed. My heart broke. It literally broke. Feeling as if an elephant was sitting on my chest, I Googled heart attack in women, and as with any chest pain, they advise you to go to the ER. So I did. I was immediately admitted and told the next day I would wake up, they would put me to sleep, and I would have a stent put in the vessel. So the next day, I was shown a cartoon version of the procedure, put to sleep, but when I woke up, I didn't have a stent in the vessel, but I was told I had broken heart syndrome, also known as cardiomyopathy. My vessels were clean. My heart was damaged from continuous and traumatic stress. The doctor said to me, I don't know what you have going on in your life, but you need to change it. Tell that to a young mother, single mother of 3, 5, 12, and 15. It's hard to really understand the impact loss has, continuous worry about kids, and the potential effects relationship have on you. This was a wake-up call. I began asking myself, why don't I respect myself enough that I allow people to take advantage of me? Why do I surround myself with broken people who I think I can fix? Perhaps I couldn't fix Rob, so I set out trying to fix others. I've had to ask myself a lot of questions, and I set forth to change again. Today, I recognize the importance of me, and maybe for the first time in my life, I'm standing up for something that I believe. I've had the courage to say goodbye to toxic people and make my own needs a priority. I am living proof that it is possible to pick up the pieces and heal a broken heart. It only took one person to do so, and that person was me. I started I Understand to evoke conversation on a difficult subject. I was no longer alone. Having my troops behind me who understood, I began to talk and share my story, and by doing so, I learned the power and comfort of, I know, I get it, I understand. I stopped looking for others to make me happy, and I found the happiness within myself. I found so much gratitude with everything that I still had. Once I did that, I discovered what contentment was. What a beautiful gift contentment is. Today, I'm grateful. Through this journey, I have found people that love me for who I am, and I've been able to let go of those who didn't. My kids have endured things that I wish upon no one, now have the courage and the strength and know the true meaning of unconditional love. Such beautiful gifts to hold. Most importantly, I understand life brings about very difficult paths, but how we walk down them and whom we walk with will lead you to where you're supposed to be. I'm supposed to be here right now. I found the light at the end of the tunnel, the silver lining by helping others, a bittersweet place to be knowing I had to lose Rob to make a difference, to take a dark subject and make it comfortable to talk about and have the ability to say, I understand. Today, I understand the changes that need to be made. Pain is the common denominator of all suicides. Without pain, there would be no suicides. A recent article I read said 54% of those who die by suicide do not have a diagnosed mental health illness. But yet, 90% of those who die struggle with some form of depression. So what are those things that cause this pain? As Karen mentioned, television, our phones, our hurting, bullying, financial devastation, heartbreak, physical pain. This is how I relate. I've had the stomach flu or food poisoning so bad, I've been on my bathroom floor, curled in a ball, and it felt like a knife was in my stomach, twisting and turning. The pain was so bad, I said, I want to die. But was I suicidal? No, I just wanted the pain to end. That's how I can relate to someone who is in so much pain, wherever that pain may come from. They don't really want to die. They want their pain to end. If you know someone suffering from pain, reach out, talk to them. It takes one person to understand. Be the one for someone. Our Pink Heart Project, which all have pink hearts on the table, last year accepted dollar donations for Pink Hearts through the state of Michigan through Big B Coffee. We collected over $12,000 simply by encouraging others to invite someone for coffee, for conversation, because if you share your heart with someone by letting them know if they ever need someone to talk to, you'll be there for them. It will help break down barriers and perhaps change or even save a life. The conversation continues with our partnership at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. I understand recently presented a check in the amount of $120,000 funding the first in the country nurse specializing in mental health in a traditional hospital setting. Last year, Ashley was responsible for screening 1,100 children ages 10 to 18 for suicide ideation. She trained over 11,000 Spectrum Health employees. We provide care packages. We provide buddy puppies for the reader program. And we're proud to be working with Helen DeVos Children's Hospital once again to provide and create a sensory room for autistic patients who are at risk of harming themselves and others. The sensory room will facilitate the learning and practice of stress management in a place that can give them a feeling of comfort and calm. You too can help. Go to our website, check out the definition petition. We can change the definition from one who intentionally kills themselves to a side effect of a mental health illness or pain. It will destigmatize and change the conversation. Check out our monthly support groups, our weekly walks, our community partners like Beer City Dog Biscuits. You have a dog sample in your bags because they provide vocational training for the disabled. Nothing But Cakes wants you to be reminded that you're sweet for supporting by treating yourself to a butt cake. We love our community followers, our community partners, our followers, our volunteers, and each and every one of you for joining us today, because together we are better, together we can make a difference, together we can change the conversation, and together we can say, I understand. Thank you.